I guess after that, what was your next step after that?
Well, I can tell you, basically, growing in the ranks is not easy. Okay,
I can imagine.
The capacity where you had to work on certain levels and not being paid for it was also another thing that I had to fight.
Right.
So I decided that, listen, I'm working very hard.
Right.
I'm in a position and I'm supposed to be paid accordingly.
Right.
And I decided to take the government of St. Martin to court.
For basically short paying you.
Yes.
For your duties that you were performing.
Correct.
So let me get this straight. You are one of the top inspectors in the country.
Yes.
And at some point, you figure that the amount of work that you're doing, the compensation for it is just not adequate.
It was a publication in the newspaper.
Okay.
And for anyone, so even if you're a cop in the Netherlands or a cop in Curacao, if you're a cop in St. Eustatius or anywhere within the Dutch kingdom, there was a public application for the position.
Okay.
The position stated exactly where you're supposed to be paid.
Right.
Based on what scale.
Right.
So now I was accepted.
So that was clearly stated?
Yeah, it was clearly stated.
Okay.
So I was accepted. I sworn in as a police inspector at the National Detective Agency.
Okay.
But my salary was wrong.
So it wasn't something that was assumed, or it wasn't something where you wake up one morning and say, oh, I find I'm doing too much work for that pay. The pay that you were supposed to receive was clearly stated, and you were not receiving that pay.
And it happened just before my inspector rank, because I became a police major as well as a specialized detective.
Okay.
And I also did the same thing where they shortchanged me, and I took them to court for it.
Right.
And that was the first court case that I initiated against the Ministry of Justice in St. Martin.
So before we get into that, obviously, okay, you're not getting paid what you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But it's one thing for you. It's a lot of people that are not getting paid what they're supposed to. But it's one thing. How did you come to the final decision to say, okay, I'm going to take the government to court. I'm going to fight the government.
Oh, basically,
especially without, obviously, without any type of law degree, right? Yes. Well, how did you come to that decision to say, I'm going to take the government to court? I'm going to take on the government.
Well, basically, you get a national decree. A national decree entails that they give you a position, and it entails your salary, etc.
Okay.
And also in the fine print, it also quotes the law that based on which article, if you do not agree with this national decree that was given to you, you have the right to petition it to court, to the civil servant court. So is it being paid enough?
Right.
I said, okay, a lawyer is going to cost a lot of money. So what I did, I started to study.
Did you, before you get into that, did you query it with anybody? Did you try to reach out to somebody to say, hey, this is going on? Did you? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you just said to yourself, listen, this is an injustice to me. I'm not getting paid what I'm supposed to. I can't afford a lawyer. I'm going to, based on whatever I know, I'm going to pursue a case against the government.
Against the government, yes.
Okay.
And I did it. Someone did saw it at the court. They said, give them a second, leave them review it. As they know, I have no legal background.
Right.
The only legal background I had was in policing.
In policing.
So you know the basic of the laws.
The basics they teach you, right?
To make a long story short, it was petitioned, it was sent in, and I won.
Wow. And what year was that?
This was in 2013, 2013, yeah.
So that was
2014.
That was you basically sued or
sued, yeah, basically
the government in St. Martin.
In St. Martin.
Dutch St. Martin?
Dutch St. Martin.
And won.
Yes.
Without a law degree. And you represented yourself. Wow, pro se.
Yes.
After that, that case was settled. What did you feel at the time? Did you feel a sense of?
I felt a sense of relief as it was for my person,
right?
And that was it.
And that was
But then shortly after,
Mm-hmm.
after colleagues learned about it, a colleague came to me and he told me, listen, I have a problem
Right.
with my salary and I have to also petition the court. And I
Right.
told him he needed a lawyer.
Right.
And
Because obviously you were not one.
yes, I'm not a lawyer. So he's telling me his problem. So I told him he need a lawyer. He said,
Right.
listen, if you can do it for yourself, then you can do it for me.
Okay.
I was like, oh God, what do you want me to do?
No, you don't.
And
And
then you have 30 days to deal with this.
Yeah.
And his 30th day was the same day he came to
wow.
me. So I asked the supervisor for some time off. I went home, tried to put a petition together for him.
Right.
And we sent it to court.
Right.
And eventually he gave me a power of attorney to represent him.